All right, I think we're live. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Perlmutter, and I'm with the Art of Online Marketing, and I'm excited to have you here today. I am joined by Jimena Cortes, who's an SEO expert and a LinkedIn marketing expert. And then we have a surprise guest as well. We have Rocky from Entrepreneur Magazine, who runs the social media community there. So I'd like to welcome you both and say thank you very much for joining us today. Thanks,
Hi,
guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
So we're really excited. We're going to talk about how you can attract money-in-hand buyers from LinkedIn for free. It's just knowing what to do. And lucky for you, we have Jimena and Rocky here today that are going to chime in on different ways you can leverage LinkedIn and use it to generate leads and help close more customers. So Jimena, can we just jump in and start with, how did you even get involved with LinkedIn and how did you make it work?
Sure, absolutely. So what happened was back in 2011, I had just recently lost my marketing job. They decided to move the company back to Bulgaria. So at that point, I was really faced with two options. I can go get another, five-figure marketing job, doing the same thing, or I could start my own business and take my skill set and really leverage that to help, small to medium-sized business clients. And so that's what I opted for. My expertise at that time was mainly just in search engine optimization. So, I help my clients get to the top of Google and drive traffic through search engine marketing. The problem with SEO is that it's a very hard thing to sell because you're telling people that you need to pay you all this money up front, and it's going to be months before you see a result. And unfortunately, a lot of business owners have already had like really bad experiences with other SEO people. So when I started my business, I had a really hard time getting clients. I mean, the first 6 months, thank God I had savings and I had unemployment for a few months because I could hardly get any clients at all. And I tried everything. I was going to business networking events. I tried direct mail, which took a lot of time, was expensive. I tried Craigslist and sending videos to people there. I got some result from that, but for the amount of time spent and what I got out of it, I was like, there has to be a better way. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, I know marketing. LinkedIn is a place where there's a bunch of business people. That's who I'm trying to help. Why don't I go in there and see what happens? And so I started reading up on strategies about LinkedIn. I started implementing some of the stuff on my profile and networking and meeting people. And compared to everything else, this worked much faster. I mean, I started getting people connecting with me, wanting to do business with me, people that were happy that I would take time out of my day to talk with them versus all the other stuff I've been trying to do. I'm like trying to knock on people's doors, trying to hound them to hire me, and it just was not working. So it really was this shift at that point, and that's really when I started to see actual success in my business. Once I implemented this, I stopped doing everything else. Like, I don't go to business events anymore. I don't get out of my house. If I want more leads, I just go into my LinkedIn account and I start doing stuff, and clients appear pretty much.
Great. That's awesome. So, if someone's just starting out, how can they replicate some of your success? What should they be doing on LinkedIn?
The very first thing, and this is going to sound probably really cliche, but you've got to optimize the profile. Because you know what? I've actually tested this, and when I do all the other stuff that I do with the profile that I have, it works really well. But when I do it with a profile that looks kind of like everybody else and it's really not that special, I don't get like the results that I get are like less than 30% of what I typically get. So
when you bring a client on and you help them with LinkedIn, if they're not letting you optimize their profile, then you really can't do everything else that's going to get them results. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, because if you don't optimize your profile the right way, I can do all the other networking and connecting, but it's not going to be as effective, and you're not going to get the response from the audience that you can get if you just take this one step, to optimize your profile.
Can you give us a couple examples of what you mean when you say optimize your profile the right way?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you go into LinkedIn, you'll notice that most people, their profile reads like a boring old resume. So let's say you're a CEO of a company, right? and your headline says, I am CEO of XYZ company. Well, okay, that tells me nothing about what you do, why I should connect with you, why I should care. I don't even know what XYZ company is. I don't even know what to do. So what I did is I took myself out of the equation and I said, okay, well, what are the solutions that I provide for my clients, and who are my clients? And I wrote my profile in a way that explains that. So, for example, my headline says that I am a marketing expert that has grown Facebook communities of 60,000 plus fans and gets clients at an ROI of 300% or more using Google. When people read that, they're like, wow, how can you generate more leads for me, and how can I get a 300% ROI on my marketing? Now we can get the conversation started. So your headline is very important. You also want to have a professional profile photo. I mean, I know that sounds like common sense, but you'd be surprised how many people you find on LinkedIn and they've got this photo of them with their significant other or like hanging out. This is not the place to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want a professional headshot and you want to look like a business person. Otherwise, you're going to scare people away.
So when you say optimize the profile and have that great picture, what else? The profile's only so long, and then you get into the experience. Or to you, is that all the same thing when you're talking about it right now?
Well, I do my profile very different. That's why it works so well. So I like to call my profile a high-converting sales letter because that's really what it is. And that's how I've used it to help me in even selling and cutting down my selling time with prospects. Because what I did is, starting from the headline, I'm already differentiating myself from every other SEO expert. If you type in SEO expert into LinkedIn, you're going to get like 50,000 or some odd results, something crazy. Last time I typed in social media marketing expert, I got like 160,000 results.
Wow.
So how are you going to differentiate yourself from these thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that do the exact same thing that starts with the headline? I carry that over to expand on that headline on my summary and my experience. So keeping my target audience in mind. So let's say if my target audience is doctors and attorneys, which for me, that's who I work with, I explain that in my summary, and I explain the results that my clients experience in my summary. Then in my experience section, rather than putting, all the jobs that I've had for the past 10 years, which no one cares, because remember, no one cares about you. They care about what you can do for them. I instead just put a bunch of case studies of my clients as part of my experience, because what I'm trying to do is get more of those types of clients to hire me for my services.
Gotcha.
So
for you, you're going and saying, I've helped this doctor, grow their audience by X amount, which has converted into this many new patients on average for them, or generated this much new revenue for them. Those are your types of case studies. And then for a doctor or dentist or someone that you're working with, what kind of a case study would you put up for them?
Well, it just depends on what the results were on the campaign. So, for example, one of my attorney clients, I helped him double his business in 6 months. So I talk about that in the case study. With one of my CPA clients, he actually got a 600% return on investment for the work that we did for his SEO campaign. So I talk about that. And then these clients were so happy as well with their results that they actually went in and gave me a recommendation on LinkedIn right where that case study is. So then not only am I saying that this happened, they're reconfirming it by putting the testimonial from their own profile. So that's been very powerful. And I really want to stress this point, and it's something most people don't realize that they can do with their profile. But when you write it the right way, it can literally cut down your selling time, especially if you do a lot of one-to-one, like B2B kind of sales. I mean, it could take time, especially when we're talking about services where you're charging $1,000 or several $1,000s a month for. You're going to have to talk to a prospect several times and explain the value and explain why they should hire you. And there's this whole dance, that has to happen. And this dance can take a lot of your precious time. So when I wrote my profile, now what I do, like when I get referrals from anybody or when people find me, I'm like, look, go read my profile. If you like what I've done for other people and you want me to do that for you, let's talk. So now instead of me spending 45 minutes on the phone telling them why they should hire me and all this great stuff, they can read it. It's there. I just say 45 minutes each time. So when we actually do talk, we're talking about what's their problem, what's the solution, and what's it going to cost. And I don't have to do any selling. They know I'm the expert. now it's just a matter of can they afford it, really.
Gotcha. So, Rocky, in hearing all of this, is this a new take to you on how to leverage a LinkedIn profile, or is this something that you have been trying yourself? Because it's new to me, so I'm wondering if it's new to you as well.
Well, it's definitely not common, and as Jimena said, that how can you differentiate yourself from everybody else, right? And a small subset of people are doing this. I mean, they're the ones who are going to stand out the most on LinkedIn. We run a LinkedIn group for Entrepreneur Magazine, and definitely the ones that stand out the most in the group are the ones who have properly optimized their profiles. Those who pretty much right then and there tell you who they are, what they're about, what they've done. Those are the ones who are the most active. Those are the ones who get the most conversation going. And yeah, I mean, I definitely think this is a really good way for people to stand out.
Great. So do I. I think that, as you said, if you can save time, every conversation that you're going to have with someone, trying to explain to them what you can do for them by just letting them read what you've done for their competitors or people that they can relate to and say, yeah, I want that for me too. I think that that's got to be a really persuasive selling tool. So that's one of the main things that they can do right. I mean, having said that, what are some of the biggest blunders that you've seen, with LinkedIn pages as you try and help people?
Oh man, there's a laundry list of stuff, but I'll just focus on the few. I mean, the first thing, I already talked about the profile photo. I mean, you just be professional on that end of things. But the other thing, and people might not think that this is a blunder, but it actually, it almost gets on my nerves a little bit. It's like when you reach out to connect with someone, everyone sends out this generic request to connect thing. And I get them all the time, and I'm just like, why are you reaching out to me? I want to know why we should connect, because LinkedIn is not a place where you collect connections like spammy like that. It's really a place where these are meaningful connections. So I actually usually take that a step further, and anyone that sends me that generic request to connect, I ask them, I accept it if they look like somebody I want to connect with, and I say, hi, thanks for connecting. What made you decide to reach out to me? And you'll be surprised how many times people were actually wanting to do business with me, but they just didn't tell me. And I wonder, if I didn't send you that message of why did you request to connect, we would have just connected, and then nothing would have ever happened. It would have just been dead because nobody would have made an effort. I had to make that effort to find out. So that's one thing that people do a lot that gets on my nerves. The other thing that this is even worse, and this is a sure way to really just not utilize it. I can't think of the word around, but you're not utilizing this powerful social network the way that you should, is when you try to sell people on LinkedIn, you try to sell right away. It's like you make a connection, and then you'll get this message from somebody like, oh, check out all the stuff I'm doing. Do you want to go like my Facebook page? I'll like yours. Or do you want to do this? It's like, no, I don't want to do any of that. We just connected. I have to get to know you first. So there's definitely a delicate dance and a delicate manner that you have to talk with people on LinkedIn so that they're not turned off by you and they don't see you as spam. And I don't see a ton of spam on LinkedIn, but it does happen, and I just shake my head when I see people doing this because they're wasting valuable opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, I get spammed all the time on LinkedIn, so I know exactly what you mean by that. And I don't ask people, why do you want to connect? So that's a great tip. I'm going to use that one for sure, because I just assume that they're trying to expand their network. So, and like you said, I don't accept every request that comes my way. I accept it when it looks like it's not a spammer and that there's potentially a good reason for that connection. So what about you, Rocky? Will you accept every request that comes your way, or how do you do that on LinkedIn?
Actually, no, I don't accept every request on LinkedIn. Like Jimena said, I do get a lot of generic messages requesting to connect, and unfortunately, I do judge a book by its cover.
That's why you gotta optimize the profile.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Totally right. I judge a book by its cover. If it looks like spam, if it looks like, if they're part of an industry that I don't think I will benefit from connecting with, then I most likely will ignore the request. But I mean, I get a lot of requests because I manage the LinkedIn Entrepreneur Magazine group. It's very clear that I'm the owner of that group. So I get a lot of requests from that, because I'm the admin of that group. But like Camila said, if they don't provide any sort of reasoning for why they want to connect with me, then 90% of the time I just ignore the request.
Well, there is actually one benefit to connecting, even with people that you don't want. I mean, the people that I don't connect with is if they really blatantly look like spam. They don't have a photo. They have maybe like 10 connections and the profile's just not filled out. That's not getting accepted. And if it's somebody that I'm probably not going to do business with, but they have connections, I'll accept it just because I want to increase my visibility and come up more within LinkedIn search. So LinkedIn actually has a patented technology of counting your connections up into the third degree. So, your first degree connections, you guys can all see each other. Then the connections of their connections are your second degree connections. And then anyone that's in groups or connections of connections of connections, those are your third degree. But anybody outside your third degree, if they do a search, they will not be able to find you on LinkedIn, and you guys cannot really view each other's profiles. So the larger your network is, the more visibility that profile will have. And I've actually had business come from me from people that just found me just through LinkedIn search. So it can be very useful to connect also with people that have really large networks themselves, so that grows your second and third degree connections too.
Well, and Rocky mentioned that he's running a LinkedIn group. You've talked about groups a little bit. What do you think for people, is starting their own group something they should do just because of what you just spoke about, or how does that work?
Oh, absolutely. Having your own LinkedIn group is one of the more advanced strategies that I teach my clients, but it is extremely effective. And let me just give you some stats that are just going to blow your hair back. LinkedIn emails on average. LinkedIn emails on average get opened 7 times more than regular emails. So when you own a group on LinkedIn, you can send that group one announcement every single week. So that's kind of like growing a free email list that you don't have to pay for. You don't have to pay for hosting. Your emails are getting delivered and on average getting opened 7 times higher than they were if you were using like Aweber or whatever email platform that you have. So as the group grows, now you're getting a targeted group of people that you can send email messages to every single week, and it costs you nothing. I mean, I know group owners on LinkedIn that grow their group is growing at a rate of 1,500 or 3,000 a day, and that's almost like, think about adding 1,500 to 3,000 leads to your email a day. What is that going to cost you if you're buying paid traffic? That can get expensive, and this happens to him organically because of the way that he's grown his group, and there's a lot of people doing that on LinkedIn. It takes time to grow your own group, but there are huge, huge benefits to it for sure.
Wow, that sounds great. We're going to have to do that. Now, Rocky, you going to open another one?
That one is big enough for me. We have 30,000 people in my group, so.
That's fantastic. And let me ask you, do you email them weekly?
Unfortunately, we don't take advantage of the weekly announcements, but we have sent announcements before, whether it's changes to the group rules, or we have something really major coming out. And actually, right now we just released our redesign of the website, so that's probably something we'll take advantage of for LinkedIn announcements, is to send our group, hey, by the way, we just released our redesign. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it and whatnot. But the fact that our group is so active and just so engaged already, sending an email weekly, I feel, it's just another layer of what's already going on in the group.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely, I love that stat that Jimena threw out, the fact that LinkedIn emails get open way more often. So I'll have to find other things about our business that we could talk about.
I was going to say, so Jimena, if someone does have a group, and maybe they're not as fortunate to have as active one as Rocky has, his is very active, 30,000 people, I'm sure there's a lot going on. But if you've just started your own group and you want to get things going and you've got people in it, but you want to add value, what kind of emails, besides, clearly promotional emails are every marketer's dream, but you can't do a promotional email all the time. So what kind of emails, besides like a website redesign, would you recommend that you send out to a LinkedIn group that you're running?
Well, you got to think about what the group is about. Usually each group will be around a certain niche. So that niche has, problems that they experience in their business. So why not send them really great, valuable content that helps them with solutions to those problems? That way, when they do get an email announcement from you, they know that not every single time it's going to be like a sales pitch that's going on. you're really sending them value so that they actually start to look forward to the emails that your group sends out. LinkedIn also sends out emails automatically to your members as well from the top discussions that happened or new discussions too, so that it drives people back into the group if they see a discussion that they want to chime in on.
Great, thank you. And if someone, can you give us some examples of people that you've helped and success you've created for them on LinkedIn, following some of the techniques that you're talking about here?
Absolutely. So one of my clients that I helped was, she's a women's pricing expert. So when she came to me, she really wasn't getting any clients. Nothing was really happening. So one of the things that we did, we started out with optimizing her profile and really focusing in on her results. What are the results that the women experience when they hire her? And typically is they're able to raise their income by like 80% or more just by simply raising their prices the right way, because most women tend to undercharge. I'm guilty of that too sometimes. But so she helps these women, and so what we did is we revamped her profile. We put her in the right groups where her target audience would be, and then by providing value inside those groups through content and discussions that she started, a lot of women started reaching out, connecting with her, wanting to speak with her, and wanting to do business with her. Within just 60 days, she was actually able to close $10,000 worth of business.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's not chump change that we're talking about here when you do this stuff right. And the beauty of it is kind of, that most people don't know how to do these very simple things. And they think LinkedIn's boring or stodgy and there's nothing going on. But first of all, it's, the 12th most trafficked website on the planet. And everyone there is there to do business. And on average, the average LinkedIn user makes over $100,000 a year. So you've got business-minded people who have money, and if you just go in there and you provide value to those people, somebody that has a problem that you solve is going to want to do business with you, and you guys are going to connect, and you're going to take the conversation offline. You'd be surprised how easy it is to take the conversation offline and create business deals, not just getting clients like I've helped people do, but if you want to get press, I've had press come out of LinkedIn. If you want to get speaking engagements or just overall increase your authority, it can all be done through there. And it's very, very simple and very underutilized still.
That's great. So you're just making me think. I'm looking up for a second going, okay, I got to go in and change my whole LinkedIn profile now that we've had this conversation. So I'm like, So, you just talked about the fact that LinkedIn can do so many things. I mean, people think about LinkedIn for either finding a job or finding an employee. But, what are the top reasons people come to you outside of trying to, find a lead? Or, because you talked about like speaking engagements and things like that. So can you talk a little bit more about really what you can generate from there or how that would work?
Yeah, so, I've actually done, it's been very interesting. People, like my clients usually come to me for search engine marketing help. I mean, if you look at my profile on LinkedIn, which I encourage everybody to connect with me, it's very, search engine and a little bit social media driven, but really my main focus on my business is the search engine optimization. So that's what people come to me for. What I've been able to generate from LinkedIn, now LinkedIn's really been pretty much like my lead generation strategy to grow my business. Because if I do SEO for SEO-related terms, it is so competitive. It's just much faster to do it on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So through the networking stuff that I've done on LinkedIn, like providing valuable content in groups, showing solutions to problems that my target market has, other people have seen those discussions and they've reached out to me, and that's how I got invited to speak at a cosmetic surgery conference in Vegas. I mean, I was just giving information on how the cosmetic surgeons can increase their traffic to the website. And the owner of the event was like, hey, will you be at my event and talk on these topics? And I was like, yeah. Same things happened. This just happened recently. Last week, somebody that owns a marketing magazine out of Spain did a search on LinkedIn, and he was impressed by my profile and asked me to do an interview for him that we just did on Wednesday. So, again, I can't stress how important it is to do your profile right, increase your network, and really go into the group and provide value so that people see that you know what you're talking about. And the right people, if you resonate with them, if you do this right, they'll reach out and either put you on their radio show. I've had that happen, or there's speaking engagements, or just hire you to do this stuff for them.
That's fantastic. You know, Rocky, I'm just curious, have you, out of the entrepreneur space, had success stories that you've been able to hear or even experience for, your members using LinkedIn?
You know, in the group, a lot of people ask questions about how they can maximize their LinkedIn profile as well. And just through the conversations that people have in there, a lot of it sort of echoes what Jimena's case is. It's like, a lot of the connections most likely aren't necessarily like actual customers, but they could be lateral connections as well. Whether, like Jimena said, a radio show host or, an author who wants to, interview you, whether it's a journalist also who wants to interview you. There's all sorts of opportunities that people have found through LinkedIn beyond just being a direct sale.
So it really does have the ability to be leveraged in many different ways. And I just want to kind of recap what you talked about for a second. And so you're saying optimize the profile, and one of the key ways to do that is to fix your headline so it's attention grabbing and it gives the benefit of what you do for them versus saying me, 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 it's what I can do for you. And then to take the rest of your profile and really focus on supporting that with case studies. So that's elementally what you're saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got it.
But you also can help people with that. I mean, there's ways that people can learn how to literally go in and do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, and writing your profile, anyone can write a profile. Most people know how to write. There's definitely a science to it, though, and this just goes back to, copywriting. Just in marketing in general is, how do you explain the value of your proposition the right way to your prospect? And there's definitely an art and a science that, unfortunately, because of lack of time, it's something we can't cover here. People study copywriting for years before they become really good at it.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
but yeah. So the reality is that everyone can do this, but you really have to think about it, and you need to be a good writer, or you need to access some people who can help you with marketing copy to really build out your LinkedIn profile.
Absolutely, that's correct.
Okay, and so having said that, I'm curious, why do you think most people don't really even leverage LinkedIn? Because I know so many people have like 12 connections on LinkedIn. They just don't do anything.
Yeah, there's people on LinkedIn that have over 1,000 connections, and they don't know how to leverage LinkedIn. I come across this a lot, and this is actually a question that I've asked quite a bit, and the unanimous answer across the board has really been, I just don't know where to get started. Most people, they have a profile, but they just don't know where to get started or what to do. And the other thing is, most people really don't really grasp or understand the power that this could have to their business if they just actually try to leverage it, especially for those people that are in B2B kind of sales. Most people just don't understand that you can actually make some serious money on LinkedIn if you don't spam and you kind of have a finesse about how you do your networking. It can just be so powerful. I don't do anything else. I don't really need to.
Well, the amazing thing, I'm sorry, go on, Rocky. I thought you were saying something. The amazing thing to me is, like you said, we do search engine optimization, we do pay-per-click advertising and Facebook ads, and all of those things come with a price tag. And yet on LinkedIn, if you can get on there and get your profile optimized and create a group and spend some time, then you actually can generate a tremendous amount of qualified traffic for next to no money, relatively speaking. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Even time. Initially, it'll take you some time, to set up your profile, go through your connections, rekindle any stuff that's going on, set up your group. But I literally maybe spend 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn, maybe. And I'll wake up every morning. I'll have requests to connect. I'll have messages. I'll just go in there, answer that. Sometimes I'll post some content. Off I go. Wake up the next morning, there's all these messages. So I just, do the next project. It doesn't really take a lot of time, and it's free. A lot of people that I work with have the premium accounts, and there's nothing wrong with them, and you get a lot of great benefits. I personally have never paid for a premium account. And so I got all this stuff for free. It just took a little bit of my time. That's it.
So really, what are next steps for people if they're jazzed at this point and they're saying, you know what, I think LinkedIn's worth trying for me? What can we do to help them?
Absolutely. So I've actually put together a PDF report. Today we've really done a lot of talking about generating leads and optimizing your profile. But it's one thing to generate leads, and it can be done very easily with LinkedIn. But it's another thing to actually turn those leads into business. So what we've put together is a training on how to take the conversation offline and how to close your leads in a way that they close themselves without you having to do too much using your LinkedIn profile. So I know, Rachel, you can put, actually, Rocky, you can put the link in there for where we've got that training. But it's really powerful because there's something that we've put in there that we didn't really talk about today. And this is one of the things that actually I got a business partner out of just because he did this. So my business partner, Jerome, he has over 200 recommendations on his LinkedIn profile.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's crazy. I don't even have that many. But I'm starting to implement his system for getting recommendations because it's so powerful. Basically, what happened was I was working with a client for SEO, and my client had some serious reputation issues. And I was like, man, I can't drive traffic to your site, and I drive people there, and then they see these bad reviews. It's just not going to convert. I need a reputation management expert. But I didn't know anyone, and I didn't want to do it myself. So I went on LinkedIn. I find this guy, and he's got this 200 recommendations. And to me, that was like, well, if there's that many people recommending this person, that is the person to hire. I don't care what he charges. That's the person. So come to find out after talking, he actually has a whole system about how he got all these recommendations. A lot of these recommendations weren't even his actual clients. They're just people that he actually connected with through LinkedIn. And so he shares his system as how to do that. And this is one of those things that's going to help you close process, because when you have that kind of social proof, I mean, you can talk about yourself and how great you are so you're blue in the face, but when someone else says it, it's 1,000 times more powerful. And when you have 200 people saying it, you don't have to sell anything at all. Just say, go look at my results. If you want that, talk to me, and you can charge whatever you want. I mean, he charges quite a bit of money for his services, and he gets it because of that social proof.
I got it. So how can we help people with that?
Well, we actually, let me see if I can put the link.
Well, the link is in the bottom of my lower third. So if you look at the bottom of my lower third, there's a short little link there. And if you just type that into the URL area of your search engine, Chrome or Safari, whatever you're using, that will pull up a special offer. And what did you put together for people?
So what we've put together for people is a report on the 7 steps that we take to be able to close clients using our LinkedIn profile. And also it comes with a video training of exactly Jerome's process for getting over 200 recommendations on LinkedIn. I mean, obviously, you want to start the low-hanging fruit is going to be getting recommendations from your clients, people that are happy. But then if you don't have that many clients and there's only a few and you really want to ramp that up, there's actually a method that you can use to get these recommendations from people that maybe haven't worked with you but you've provided value to on LinkedIn. So we lay out that entire training with this 7 steps report, so you can really start leveraging your profile to close more leads.
Wonderful. And is there a fee for that, or how's that work?
Yes. So typically we've been charging $27 for this training, which is a steal in and of itself.
Yeah.
However, and my business partner was actually really mad at me for this, but I really wanted to make it stupid simple, a no-brainer for anybody that took the time to be on the training today. So we've lowered the price down to just $7. So it's like not even the price of like a McDonald's meal, I think. So for $7, you can have your profile optimized and start closing leads the right way using your profile, really leveraging your time on LinkedIn. And it's just $7. It's going to be for a limited time. I don't know how long we'll have it up there for that much, but I wanted to do this for the entrepreneur.com community and also your community, Rachel, at the Art of Online Marketing. So
Well, we appreciate that. That's like $1 a step, folks. $1 a step. So, 7 steps to getting, tons of reviews on LinkedIn, which are going to help you convert people to buyers instead of, prospects just asking you questions. And the other thing I'd like to just encourage everyone that's watching, if you do need help rewriting your LinkedIn profile, that's something that we can help you with, and we would actually work with Jimena to do that. So when I say we partner with Jimena to provide that service, so because we want to work with the best as well. I've looked at Jimena's profile and some of the other ones that she's done for people, and they are so different than what you're used to seeing from anyone else. So I'm going to be your first customer, and because it's incredible, the difference. And then if anyone else is interested in getting help with that, you can give us a call at the Art of Online Marketing, and we'll help you understand how that service works and how you can take advantage of it. Or do you want to talk a little bit about that, Jimena, just how the process works if someone wants us to rewrite their LinkedIn profile for them?
Yeah, I mean, the best way is just to contact you guys, and we actually have a form that we send everybody. You just basically fill out this form, and it's really allowing us to get to know why are you different, why are you unique, what are the results that you provide your clients, what are the solutions that you help them with. And we really dig deep into that through this form that you'll fill out. And once we have that, our copywriters will go ahead and take that information and put it into, basically just turn your profile into a high converting sales letter like we've done for myself and several other of our clients.
Which is wonderful. So again, we encourage you to do this on your own if you're a good copywriter or you have one on your team, and go ahead and turn your profile into a high converting sales letter, focus on that headline and then all the case studies underneath. But if you need some help or you decide you want some help, we encourage you to give us a call. And then definitely go get that 7 steps report on how to get tons of testimonials on your LinkedIn profile, so people understand when you say you're good at something, it's not just you saying it, it's you and a community of people that they may even be able to connect with and know already through their own connections, and then that will even be more proof because it's someone they know recommending you. So great report. Yeah, I highly recommend that report for $7 because I know you've sold a ton of them for 27. So it's great that I appreciate that you made it available for 7 for our community. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. And just one last note on the profile, or just really on any of this, it's really this content that we've created and the services that we provide is really for people who hate having to sell, because where I was when I started my business, I really hated having to sell people and prove your value. So when you can put a system in place that does that for you, it just makes selling so much easier. It's like there's no sell, basically, that they sell themselves, and that's really where you want to be when you're in any kind of sales situation. So you don't have to be pushy, doing all these techniques and strategies to sell them. It's just all done out there online, and it just works.
Yeah, there's nothing like pre-sales, so all you have to do is confirm confirm and answer questions, give pricing, and then say, would you like to move forward? That's the easiest sale that I could think of. So that's, I really look forward to having my, my whole profile redone. So, because I've got a lot of great case studies, but I have not done a good job optimizing my profile. So I've done what I learned through, traditional social media training. And that's the great thing, is this is not traditional social media training. This is what's working now. This is what's effective. And if it was traditional, then this conversation wouldn't be taking place because everyone else's profile would already look like that. So this is going to really separate and differentiate people that go ahead and decide to do this with their profile, and that's why I can't wait to get started doing it. So, Rocky, did you have anything you wanted to share with our community before we wrap this up?
No, I actually just found some interesting questions that popped up in the public chat.
Let's take some of those.
That I think will be very, very helpful for our community. One is from Todd. He says, is it unheard of or not effective to do a LinkedIn account as a business with your business name instead of being an individual? I personally, I'm going to have my personal take on that. Is I don't like that at all. There's a reason why it's called a LinkedIn profile page, and then you have business pages that you can create for your own business. Those are the first ones I usually reject when they request to connect, are the ones that are profile pages, but they have their business name instead in their logo, because then I know like their only purpose is to get business, and they're not trying to like establish some sort of like decent relationship with me. So no, I don't recommend that. But I would like to hear your take on it, Hamina.
My take's exactly the same. I mean, there's a reason why there's personal profile and then there's company pages. They each have their own place, and no one wants to connect with a business. They'll follow your page, but no one wants to connect with one. LinkedIn's really a place that's relationship based, so you really have to be personable and have your actual photo and information about the stuff that you do on your profile. Otherwise, you're going to turn people off. And again, I've tested this. Like even just having a good personal profile versus a great one, the results that you get are just night and day.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. For what it's worth, I agree. I think that, people reaching out to you that are people, and like you said, instead of using the generic, hey, I'd like to add you to my network, but saying, hey, I'd like to connect with you because, you look like you're an expert in this, that, or the other thing, and I would just love to see your updates and have an opportunity to start a relationship with you. It's going to be way more compelling than, some stranger across the country, which I get all the time, saying I'd like to add you to my network, and I don't know you, and I'm not connected to you in any other way. So a business is even, further removed, and I think much less likely to get an enthusiastic response. So,
Yeah.
are there any questions?
No. Well, there's one more question.
Okay.
Well, actually, there's two more questions, but both are very quick. If you could choose one more activity outside of joining a LinkedIn group and also optimizing your profile page on LinkedIn, what would be the next helpful tip to do on LinkedIn outside of those two?
So outside of optimizing your own profile and starting your own group, or
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you don't even have. I mean, starting your own group, that's one of the more advanced strategies that we teach our members, because it takes a little bit more time. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're not trying to spend a lot of time, why not leverage other people's groups that already have thousands of members, just like the entrepreneur group? I mean, I'm not saying go in there and spam the group, because you can get banned. So if you, and Rocky, you know this, if somebody's in there posting spam, you can actually flag them. And what happens when you get flagged in one group and all the other groups, you actually get, your content has to be moderated as well. Some group owners are more active than others, and your stuff might not get out. So really, the best way to do it is join groups where your prospects are, and really go in there and provide value. And you can do this by starting discussions around a topic that you know is hot in that industry, or you can provide great content, like you can write your own content, and if it's okay with the group owner, post it in there, or find other sources on whatever, online places, and post that in there and start a discussion around that piece of content. That's how you provide value. You can also go in there and comment on other people's discussions, and if people are intrigued by what you say, they might want to connect, and then the whole process starts. So that's the easiest way.
Well, and the other thing that I'll add to that, Rocky, is, so there's the optimize your profile, there's get in there and be active with groups or start your own. And then, there's just the update feature on LinkedIn that you can use. So you can share valuable content on LinkedIn by talking about things, again, that are going to be helpful to your prospects just by using the simple update feature, which is just like doing an update in Facebook, basically, right within LinkedIn. You can share if you created an e-report that you think would be of value to your audience, you could share that e-report. You can drive people back to a blog post just using the update feature. Mm-hmm. Do you find that helpful as well, Jimena? Or?
Oh, absolutely, because it keeps you top of mind. People see that information and can reach out to you on it. Another thing you can do, and a lot of people miss this completely, is you probably have a ton of money sitting on the table just on the connections that you already have. So one of the things I do with my connections is I've got them tagged in different things like prospects, potential referral partners, and things like that. Kind of like you segment your own email list. And then I just send targeted content to those people just to keep myself top of mind. And you'd be surprised at how thankful and how well people respond to that. And so I'll do that every little bit, and sometimes I might send a promotional message. But when I do send promotional messages, I actually get clients out of it. The last one I did, I made like $5,000 just from sending people content, and then put an offer that followed up that content. So
great. That was a great question.
Yeah, actually, someone sent me a private message right before Mother's Day, and she's a chef. She's a personal chef, and she created these chocolate boxes for mothers. Unfortunately, I didn't. I already had bought my Mother's Day gift at that time, so I didn't get to utilize that. But it really did, like, open up conversation. So I thought that was really clever.
Yeah.
One more question. The difference between endorsements and recommendations.
Huge difference. So I'm personally not a huge fan of endorsements, and the reason being is because I get all these endorsements from all these people I don't even know. I'm just like, why are you endorsing me? You don't even know that I'm good at that stuff. But recommendations, I mean, that's something where, your profile is there. It's a whole paragraph about how awesome it was working with that person. I just think those are so much more powerful. So endorsements are actually pretty easy to get. I mean, especially if you optimize your profile, people will just start endorsing you left and right because they probably want you to do it back to them, which I never do. But a recommendation is it's a real testimonial, and it's just 1,000 times more powerful than a bunch of little endorsements there.
Hmm. And then one last question before, I guess, whatever Rachel wants to hand it off. People wanted to know about paid ads through LinkedIn.
Sure. So I've actually never ran paid ads through LinkedIn. I do have colleagues of mine that have and had a lot of success with it. LinkedIn ads are a little bit more expensive than advertising on other networks. On average, on LinkedIn, you're going to pay anywhere from $2 to $3 a click. Whereas, on Facebook, you can get your paid traffic pretty low if you know what you're doing. So LinkedIn traffic is expensive, but it also converts really well. HubSpot did a study where they tested LinkedIn traffic versus Facebook traffic versus Twitter traffic, and the LinkedIn traffic converted 7 times higher than Facebook and 4 times higher than Twitter. So does it, command those higher prices? Yes, but you are going to pay more for ads, and I unfortunately am not an expert on that part of it.
But if we needed to connect them with one, you could make some recommendations?
Yeah, actually, my business partner, Jerome, recently connected with somebody that is doing really, really well with LinkedIn ads. And we're actually going to be adding a module to our LinkedIn training on how to leverage LinkedIn ads that he will be teaching for us because he's been doing it for years. So.
That's great. I look forward to seeing that too because I've dabbled with LinkedIn ads and they are very expensive. So you really want to make sure you're set up to do the very best you can up front to make the most of that investment. So I look forward to seeing that. So,
awesome.
Well, any last closing remarks that you'd like to share before we sign off this afternoon?
Really, I'd just like to tell people that we're here today. You've got a lot of great information. At the end of the day, taking in information is one thing, taking action is another. So you really should take action on what we talked about today and really start using LinkedIn. You'll really be surprised at how well this can work when you actually put in the effort. I mean, I was floored when I first started doing this and I actually started getting clients. And I mean, I'm not sure that I would have been able to grow my business. I probably would have had to go back and get a job if I didn't find it. So I was having a hard time. I really was.
I hear you. I think all entrepreneurs, unless they get very, very fortunate, they don't get to hit the ball right out of the park from that. They need a little time. I don't know, Rocky, you could probably speak to that better than the two of us. But
Yeah, no, I agree with Jimena. I think doing anything is better than doing nothing, right? So, at least get in there. I see a lot of these comments in the chat saying, like, I've had a profile since '09, I haven't done anything. I'm like, well,
exactly.
That's probably why you're not getting any referrals, right? So, just go in, spend some time in your profile as long as you do something. LinkedIn's the most popular professional network out there, but I also think it's the most underutilized.
Big time. And it's just because people, they don't know the power and they don't know how to do it. I mean, guys, for $7, just go get the freaking report and get yourself some recommendations and start getting these leads. So we show you a lot of the stuff that we just, we really need to do it via video and really show people how to do it. And it can just really change your sales cycle around. That was a big one for me.
Yeah, that's a huge one. And again, I just want to reiterate the main points, and then I also want to thank everyone that's joined us over this time and stayed with us through this entire hangout. It's been a lot of fun talking to you. And the key points really is LinkedIn is free. And you may have had a profile, but if you haven't optimized it, then go in there and optimize it now and turn it into a high converting sales letter, which means go ahead and get that headline, saying what the benefit is that you can offer your clients, and then make the rest of that profile the case studies that talk about how you've done that. Go and get testimonials that support those case studies, and then make sure you get the report that Jimena mentioned to you, so once you start getting those leads, you know the 7 steps to converting them into customers, and you can actually monetize them. But the great thing is that that's going to be much easier than it's ever been, because your sales page, which is now your profile, the same thing, will sell people on doing business with you. So hopefully you were able to take that out of this particular presentation from Jimena, which I certainly did. I can't wait to get started with redoing my profile and turning it into a sales page, and then going ahead and doing the conversions. And so hopefully everyone is taking advantage of that free report. If you want some help rewriting your profile, then please do give us a call at the Art of Online Marketing, and we'll discuss that with you as well and see if that's something we can help you with. And hopefully you are all going to go out there and be rock stars on LinkedIn, because there's plenty of opportunity. There's not many people doing it, so you can totally differentiate yourself still on this really powerful social networking site. So, well, thank everyone. Thanks everyone for being here. Thank you, Jimena, for your great presentation and explanations, and Rocky for chiming in and sharing your perspective from entrepreneurmagazine.com or entrepreneur.com. Thank you, and I thank you from the Art of Online Marketing. We appreciate that you were all here. We will have this up as a replay for a limited amount of time, and we'll send an email out with the replay. So if you decide you want to take a look at it, you can do that. So thanks so much, and everyone have a great weekend.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.